Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It is Friday night, my favorite day of the week. It is time for Moms Who Resell. And this week, I have a very special guest. She is actually not a mom. She is a fur mom, but not a mom to the human kind. And when I first found her channel, I was so intrigued in her knowledge and everything that she showed on these channels. Little hint, she knows her toys. So I really wanted to talk with her. And just because she's not a mother, I did not want that to stop me from meeting her and having her on the show. So, everyone say hi to Shantelle. I'm excited to have you.
From the top of the pack.
You are in. Welcome. All right. If anyone is in the comments here, be sure to let us know. Not that one. Where
Yes.
did that come from? Let's come up here. This is what happens when I manage my own lives. All right. So let us know in the comments that you are here with us today. And Shantelle, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you and your husband, how long you've been reselling, maybe a little how you got started. Give us a little intro about you.
Okay, so I currently live in Texas with my husband and my fur baby Felix. He's a Beagle Blue Tick Hound mix, so he's definitely all Beagle. I originally I was born and I grew up in Virginia, moved out to Texas, and I actually started reselling. I've probably been reselling for about 2 years, so that puts it. It'd probably be 2021. See, I always get dates all mixed up.
Yep.
We'll get
It's
there
always the
eventually.
pre-COVID or post-COVID. I'm like, okay, was this before or after COVID? That's how our brains have to work now on figuring out time.
No, I definitely feel you. I definitely feel you.
So we've got Heidi here. Welcome. I'm excited you're not working, so you can make it. Simple, beautiful. Welcome. We got not so shorty in the house. We've got Mountain State Pickers
Oh,
here. Welcome.
that's my girl.
For once. Yeah. So you're always working, that's for sure. And now with the new job, Heidi's a busy, busy girl. Still trying to get her on my show. So if anyone can give her the nudge, she's been a reseller for longer than I have, and she's got stories to share. So, did you say what got you officially started in reselling? What was it that got you the bug?
I think it was two things. One was I saw a video of someone who decided they wanted to do it, and then I thought to myself, I'm like, well, I already kind of like thrifting. I like finding deals, like I like the hunt.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? I bet I could do this. This would be fun because I mean, I thought to myself, it's right up my alley. Like I just love, finding finding deals, going to
Yep.
yard sales, estate sales, finding free stuff on the side of the road.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
I mean, and yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Let's do this. Yeah.
Yep. Are you doing this part-time or full-time?
I'm doing it part-time right now. I would like to build to do full-time. Uh yeah, definitely
Cool.
I would like to get there. It's just trying to figure out like what steps I need to take to get to from part to full,
Right.
making sure
How to
that
scale
you
it.
take the right steps. Yeah.
Definitely. It's a hard line. Like, I guess the definition would be if you're no longer having to work another 9 to 5 other type of job. If this is your income, I would define that as full time because there's plenty of part-timers that do it for 40 plus hours, but they still have a 9 to 5 they're also doing. So it's hard to say. Like, you can say you're full time and still working a regular job, or yeah, I think it's hard to define that full time
Mhm.
status. I just know it consumes me at all hours of all day. So it is full time.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that
Comments
sometimes too.
here. Sister, yay, you made it. Welcome. She'll be here for all of 3 minutes just to say hi to me, then she'll leave. But I love the support, so thank you, sis. No shame in picking up the free stuff. Yes, I was telling Shantelle I've got a sticker on my car that says I break for yard sales, thrift stores, and weird stuff left on the side of the road. Because
Yep. Yep.
that's the best stuff. I mean, who can say
Oh
no to
yeah, it
free?
is. Mm-hmm.
Reselling is hard work and not everyone can do it. That's true. True, true. Thank you so much for posting the links, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure if you're not following her, head over to her channel and do that. All right. So, as hubby is helping us with the chat, how else is he involved in your business? Do you guys do this together?
Yes, we definitely do it together. I he does. I guess he does a lot of the listing. We both do the packing. I mean, we try to share a lot of it. Like, whether it's listing, making listings. I know that as um right now, like I do a lot of the cross listing. At one point a
Mm-hmm.
couple months ago, we had I wanted to give List Perfectly a try, see what it was all about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's okay. It's not for me. I use Vendu.
Yeah.
And
Vendu is who I've switched to as well. It's top notch. The fact that there's an app, that's the number one reason they got me.
I know.
So they are the winner for sure. All right. And so do either of you have the better eye than the other when you're outsourcing?
I don't know. That's really debatable because, like, he used to like because I'm a big Disney freak, like a big Disney
Mhm.
nut, and he didn't really know a whole lot at one point, and I kind of showed him, okay, well, this is I showed him all this like Disney stuff, and he kind of learned through you know my Disney obsession, what to look for, you know and now I wonder, like, sometimes I wonder, like, it's like, do you have the better eye than I do now? Because like, he'll be out
You've
somewhere and
trained
he's
your
like,
competition.
yeah, he's like, yoink, oh, look at that. Oh, what?
But that's good. Like it's so helpful when that you have someone else with that eye because you're both on the same team. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're going to thrift stores, you can divide and conquer rather than having to stay together because one of you knows more than the other. So no, that's a major, major perk. Let me see over in comments. I'm gonna stay on for 9.5 minutes. Thank you. That is super helpful. I'm not saying it's sarcastic. I love the support. All right. So, your favorite niche. You talk a lot about toys and collectibles in that sense. What is your favorite niche or your favorite even toy genre? Tell us about your favorite as well as one you want to know more about.
My favorite is probably 80s toys, vintage 80s toys.
Mm-hmm.
More specifically, um, Care Bears.
Ooh, okay.
And a big reason for that is, like, growing up, I mean, I still have all of my original Care Bears and I've always loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like my wheelhouse because I'm very knowledgeable on the original bears, the exclusive, the UK exclusive, the like, I mean,
Wow.
it's like um
I
I
think
did a
I've sold
video.
one Care Bear in my past, and it was just a little stuffed animal. I think it was one of the reproduced. It was within a few years of when I found it, so it was nothing special. Do you like the plush or the hard or anything Care Bears?
I am I do not discriminate. I like it all. I like I like it
That's
all.
awesome. And what's one niche that you wish you knew more about?
So, shoes.
Okay.
So, and I feel like I've been like hitting my head on a wall with it a little bit, like, because I know there are some of other resellers who that I know of and I'm friends with, and they just blow it out of the water, like, with selling shoes, and like, I try, and it's like it's like absolute pulling teeth. It's just, I
That's
mean,
me
is there
in
like a
clothes.
sweet spot?
Yeah. Shoes they're tricky. I've gotten pickier on my shoes where I'm only buying them if they're already clean. I don't clean shoes anymore. I know that some people they'll go and even Harry Tornado, he'll go and do like a batch of laundry of just the shoes, let them all dry and then list all those 10 shoes. But the amount of time and effort in cleaning shoes, I'd rather not buy them. Like that brings me zero joy to clean shoes. So I'll save the dirty ones for someone else who wants to clean them, and if they're clean enough to sell, then I'll buy them. But yeah,
Well,
there's a lot of money to be found in shoes, especially used ones.
that, and I know, it scares me a little bit, like some, like the sneaker market, like, is so, like, I don't know, it's very elusive because they're all those high end sneakers out there, and
Yep.
there's so many fakes, and it's just like, you
Yep.
know, I'm having a hard enough time trying shoes to begin with, so it's like
Right.
I won't even touch some shoes with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
So
It's
just
hard. My nephew, actually, my sister's son, is starting to get into selling shoes, and he's always loved shoes. He's always loved high-end shoes. So back in the day, he'd spend his whole allowance on one pair of $200, $300 shoes because he loved them. So naturally, he's now progressed into selling shoes. And that's always his number one thing, is to make sure that they're not fake. And
Mhm.
with the really good fakers, they can even fake receipts, they can fake the box, they can fake like everything. So you really like, oh, it has a box, it has to be real. Nope, it can still be fake. So eBay, luckily, they have that authentication shipping. So it ships to them, they authenticate it, and then it goes off to the buyer. So I think I'm sure that's saved a lot of sellers from getting scammed. What is a good alternative to EB? What is EB? Do you know what EB is?
eBay? That's my guess.
Okay, a good alternative to eBay. If that is your question, I mean, there's all the other platforms. Macari is probably my second favorite. Posh, if it's clothing, I'll list it over there. Um, but I don't do a lot of the other platforms like Bebop. I know that's the one my nephew lifts the shoes on. And I'm like, okay, what the heck is Bebop? So I don't do Bebop. I don't do Kidizen. That's another newer one for kids stuff. I feel like there's a new platform every week. Whatnot, of course, is huge. Um, but I haven't ventured over there yet. I know I need to, but I haven't. What about you? Do you list on what other platforms do you list on?
Um, I do eBay, Posh, and Mercari, and I stick to those. And honestly, lately, Posh is actually like my number two. Like, I mean, and it's not just
Really?
for clothes. Yeah, it's not just for clothes either. Like, you would be amazed at some of the stuff that I've sold on Posh. Like, oh, I think it's a few months ago. I went to this estate sale, and they had this huge, like, this room. Like, whoever owned the house and lived there, they were like hardcore into Cabbage Patch, and they had all these like Cabbage Patch figurines, and I'm like, all right, no, I want, I'll, I ended up essentially buying most, if not all of it, and I've, yeah, I've sold
Most of
a
them over on
few.
Posh.
Oh yeah, and oh god, what else? Like, I've sold owl trivets on Poshmark. Yeah, I
So the
know.
rule is less than 5 pounds, right? You want it to be less
Yeah,
than five
yeah.
pounds? Yeah, well, I made the mistake of listing something on Posh when I first started cross listing, and it was more than 5 pounds, like a lot more than 5 pounds. And this is why the item sold as fast as it did. And I ended up losing money because I had to buy a label separately and pay for it myself just through pirate ship. And yeah, I ended up losing my money. So I needed to realize that it's a 5 pound limit on Poshmark. So the lessons we always have to learn. But yeah, I need to list more random stuff like the collectibles, the antiques, the old toys, the stuff that is more sought after in that way. Yeah, I need to get more over there. Some shoes are worth cleaning. Yeah, Heidi, I agree. And I used to clean a lot more shoes. I even bought the Clorox bleach pen thing that I was rubbing all over it. And I have some electric scrubby things that I was using. I was putting some effort into cleaning these shoes. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't want to buy ugly, crusty shoes. And yeah, I just don't. So I'll save it for you, Heidi, because that brings me zero joy. Absolutely zero. Tony's here. Welcome. Ooh, Lori, happy picker. Excited to have you. I hate Posh, but use Macari, no other platforms. Yeah, I like Posh because the shipping, you never have to worry about the shipping. So it makes it easy that as long as it's less than 5 pounds, yeah, you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Makes it easy for we order for shipping and using priority boxes. It's like bam. Ooh, you're good to go.
Yep. Help channel throw up a like. Thank you. Simple asks, what happens if a buyer's return gets lost in transit? Has this happened to either of you? Just file a claim. I mean, if it's lost in the post office, you just file a post office claim. So I haven't had a return get lost, but I have had packages going out get lost. And it's rare. I think I've only had maybe two or three in my entire reselling career. Recently was some old not even old, but within 10 years of Ninja Turtles. And they sold because the movie was big. So I was selling all the turtles. And luckily, it was only like a $20 set, and it went with the old first class. So no insurance. It was
Hmm.
you lose it, but luckily it was a $15-$20 sale. Now with the Ground Advantage, you've got insurance. So if it gets lost in the mail, you file a claim and you get your money back minus shipping. But you should get your shipping back. I think that's baloney. They're the ones that lost the
Yeah,
package and they
right.
get to keep their shipping. But yeah, you get your money back for the item, but not your shipping that you paid. We always sell turtle stuff. Yeah, turtles are they're hot. I've got a big lot of them now of the old ones, but I have it listed kind of high at like 100 and something, 150, 140, because it has all the weapons. So we'll see. The right buyer will buy it or at least make a reasonable offer. We love our turtles around here. Yes. I had 4 things I shipped last week get misscanned as delivered instead of picked up by the carrier. Holy moly.
Oh
That is a
man.
pain in the butt. Yeah, your mail carrier must have been sleeping on the job and scanned it with the wrong button. And then you're the one that gets all the nasty emails about where's my package? All right. What is your favorite way to source?
Hmm. I'd have to. My favorite number one would have to be garage sales first. Just because cost is so low.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd say estate sales because I mean I've found some pretty good stuff, and I try to be kind of weary of um how much stuff is because some estate sales I've been to, I don't know what they were on. Oh my god, they
Yeah,
just oh it was like you're not eBay. I mean you're not
right.
eBay. You're trying to like what are you doing? Um,
Yep.
and I think we don't like I like the bins. It's just we haven't gone a whole lot. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's actually two by us. There's one in kind of downtown Dallas, and then there's one in Fort Worth, but that's a
Oh,
hike.
yeah.
So, eh, I don't know. It just I'm sure you could probably find some real winners at the bins, but I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
tricky. When you're
Yeah,
doing the Goodwill, it's tricky. And you have to commit so much time. Like you can't go in and be like, all right, I got 30 minutes. Let's see what I find. Like you do at a normal thrift. Like you need to go committed because you've got to go through all the bins. The best is to wait for new bins to come out and keep cycling through those.
what is that?
Uh,
Oh, What is
But
that?
you're
Sorry.
sifting through so much junk just to find something decent. And we have a new Amazon bin store near me that I'm beyond addicted to. And that one's great because it's still the same bin style, but the stuff is like 90% good stuff and only 10% junk. Where at the bins, I feel like it's swapped. You've got 90% junk and
Mm-hmm.
10% good stuff. So definitely different. And if I'm going to spend 2, 3 hours at a location, I'll choose the Goodwill bins rather than those 3 hours. I'll choose the Amazon bin for those 2 or 3 hours versus the Goodwill bin for 2 or 3 hours. Plus, I don't know if by you, but our Goodwill bins are just the smell. There's zero ventilation. They're hot. It's an old warehouse with really, really poor air conditioning. And I don't know how anyone spends a whole day there because I think I'd pass out.
Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, I know the one in Dallas. It's like one of those like giant warehouses.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think. Yeah, it does has a bit of an odor to it.
Yeah, it does. I guess that's probably all of them. It's just old stuff. It's everything that's been rotting in a Goodwill for however long their cycle is, and then it ends up there. Welcome, Daily Cabbage. Excited to have you. That's a fun name.
Hi, Sarah.
Some stale, some state sales are just insane. Estate sales, yeah. Oh, exactly. That's
Mm-hmm.
like you said. They think that they're eBay. So it's finding the ones that don't think that they're eBay. It's usually the big corporate ones, those overprice always. But when you find the family run ones or the smaller companies, they tend to be a little more human prices. Do you refund the buyer if the return gets lost? If eBay steps in, they'll refund the buyer and you get a defect. Yeah, refund the buyer. It's because once they tell you that it's been lost, I usually make sure that we've waited at least 2 weeks. So 14 days before I file a claim, and I tell that to the buyer if they've already messaged me. And then after the 14 days, I just refund them. I don't have them go through eBay if they haven't already, because I'd rather refund their money and keep eBay out of it. Then you can just file your claim from the post office and get your money back from them. But if they do open a claim, you can just refund, I think, directly in the claim. I think it gives you one of those options. So you shouldn't get a defect for a lost package. It's out of your control. I love the Goodwill bins. Yeah, they're good, except now I'm competing against these Amazon bins. And if I'm going to that side of town and I've got to choose between the two, I'm going Amazon. I was tempted to go to Goodwill after Amazon, but then I ended up leaving, going to lunch, and going back to the Amazon bins. So like I found more stuff. So I left right before they did another drop though. They post on their Facebook just to get people excited, and I had left just after 3, and they said they were putting out new stuff at 4 o'clock. Like, darn it! If I didn't live like 45 minutes away, I would hop in the car and go see what comes out at 4. But I'm jealous of the people that live close to it. There's another reseller that I found on through the channel, and she says she only lives like 10 minutes away from there. So I see her there anytime I go, she's there. And I'm like, you're lucky. I don't live that close at all.
Yeah, I think we have like one of those liquidation I think it's like a combination liquidation, like they get Amazon returns, but then it's also like Target clearance stuff.
Yeah.
So,
They said this is a mix. So not everything was a return. Some of it is new. So I think today I noticed a lot of labels were Kohl's. So I think they also got some Kohl's either lost packages or returns because they had a lot of Kohl's labels today. And then there was a lot of hardware, like door hardware, locks, hinges, doorknobs, keypads. That was the trend today. Those were all over the bins. So I don't know if they
oh,
got a pallet from Home Depot or where this came from, but there was a lot of hardware today.
that's crazy.
So I just hope they never close, that they have a solid enough business plan that they can sustain this because I don't want them to ever close. All right, let me see questions up here. If you guys have any questions, definitely send them in the comments. All right. What is your favorite thing about this business?
That's a good question. So I feel like I can be me. I think because I love, hunting for things, and I feel like that's part of it. And so I feel like I can be myself, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would be your biggest pet peeve in reselling?
Hmm. Lowball offers.
Yeah,
That's
that
yeah.
bugs my husband more than it bugs me. I just blow it off, like just chuckle and come back with something else. But yeah, it bugs him more than it bugs me. Do you usually counter offer or do you just straight up decline?
Well, I mean, if it's like a real kind of crappy offer, I'll just
Like
ignore
$5
it.
on $100 item? Yeah,
Yeah. Or I mean, if it's reasonable, because I'm all, I'm happy to entertain offers. I
right.
mean, if we're within a certain range, I'm like, all right, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can
Mm-hmm.
get that get that sale going.
Yep, exactly. I love providing excellent service to my buyers. Yes. People who don't pay. Yeah, that's annoying because you're holding
Yeah.
that item for them for the. I have mine set on automatic 3 day, but I'm holding it for 3 days and then they don't pay. Like, rude. I could have sold this in that 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
but instead I was holding it for you. I find the bins have a lot of broken items hidden in the box. Buying manifested pallets now. Okay, yeah, there is, especially at the Amazon bins. You've got to check every single item because a lot of them either swapped or stuff was stolen out of them. So today I found two, I don't know the correct termage for it, terminology for it, but it was computer parts. And they were okay, processors. My husband corrected me. And it was in there. Like I felt like solid. It's in there. So I go over to the testing station. I got my husband on the video call. I pull it out. It's got the little fan thing, but it doesn't have the little chip. So the chip is actually the processor. So I'm like, oh, okay. So we take that, we set that aside. What was the other one? Was it another processor?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Same thing. It was another processor.
the chip and leave the coolant it comes with.
Leave the cooler, the fan. Yeah. It's
Oh,
just it's a shame how
bummer.
much people steal from them. I don't
Oh,
know where the theft happened, if it was at the bin or if it happened um, at Amazon or somewhere in between. So that was a bummer. It's always exciting when you find it and then you open it up and you're like, really? All right, done.
yeah.
So yeah, lots of either broken items or swapped items or yeah, it's definitely a risk. But the manifested pallets, those could be interesting. But I've seen people get duped on those too. And there was this like A&E show about thrifters and buying pallets. And they had this manifested pallet and it said oh gosh, what did it say? Some kind of lenses or something. And it was supposed to be these super expensive sunglasses. So, like, okay, there's like 50 of these sunglasses in this palette. We're going to make $1 billion on it. So the palette shows up and they end up being like these little kid size binoculars or something stupid. So it wasn't what the manifest actually said. It was similar, but it wasn't the item.
Oh,
Like I don't know if
geez.
it like shared the same name or where they got duped, but that's why they bought the pallet was because of those items and they ended up losing money because that wasn't in there. So I don't know how much, even though they give you like a list of everything, a full inventory, how deep did they look at it? Did they actually look at these items or just see what's on the box? Because if they're also getting duped, they're just passing on the duping to you.
Oh man.
So at what point do they actually evaluate it? So you'll have to let us know, Simple, if you've been duped by them or if they're pretty solid. It probably just comes down to the company and who does the inventory and how well they evaluate. If it's really low ball, I count like a dollar off my listing. I've done that. Yeah. Like, yep, exactly. Or if, like 50 cents or a penny. Yeah, I've gotten kind of
Mm-hmm.
petty with it. I'll just have fun. Like, all right, if you're gonna be a jerk, then I'll spend 4 minutes and pass it on. I don't know if it works the same in in America as it does in the UK, but in the UK you can make a claim with whoever was shipping it. Okay, yeah, so talking about the lost items, I'm guessing. So, yep, just file with the UPS, USPS, or FedEx, whoever it was with. Um, a lot of them come with insurance up to $100. Hopefully, if it was a bigger item, you bought extra insurance, um, and file a claim. Saying they obviously weren't serious about wanting to buy. Exactly. I get a lot of offers on like technology. I had this Logitech joystick shifter thing for a video game. I can't even tell you how many offers I got on that. Like it's only listed for $40 and the amount of offers, I'm like, I was so glad it finally sold and at full asking price. Someone just bought it because they knew it was a good price. But Nintendo, anytime I listed Game Boys or any of those, they always get crappy offers. And it's usually just kids thinking, oh, I'm going to get it for $1.
Mm.
Really? Yeah. Happy's asking, what is a manifested palette? So, yes, if you can clarify on that. I've got a general idea where it's instead of buying a blind palette where you're just buying a palette of Amazon returns, you don't know what's in it. A manifested palette is a palette with a full list of inventory. So you can actually see, sometimes they have pictures, sometimes they have it on their website, sometimes it just says a list of the inventory and tells you the titles. That probably depends on the
But
companies
also they can
itself.
lie.
Yeah, they can lie. They can maybe think it's one thing, like an item that's in a box, and they see that that's on the box, but that's not what's in the box. So there's definitely still a risk with manifested pallets, but hopefully it's a more educated risk
You saw your return.
on the diaper bag. Yeah.
Why?
Well, because I guess it was used, and I didn't realize it. Oh, well, I offered, I do this too. If I get a return, instead of so I don't want them to ship it back. So luckily we're already on Fridays. They're not going to ship it yet. So I offered a partial refund. Like, okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was new, but I didn't look inside every single pocket and see that there was a wrapper or whatever she claims shows it was used. So I put the ball in her court and said, I'd rather you keep the bag. Let me know a partial refund. And that way, even if I end up giving her half of it back, I'm still happy. It's gone and I don't need to take it back. So I should have done a better job looking at it, making sure that it wasn't actually used. I still love grabbing a storage unit from time to time. Usually it's a lot of household items. Sometimes the profit is insane. Yeah, I've never done a storage unit or auctions. I've been watching Happy Picker, Lori and her husband, Grumpy Picker, have been doing more auctions and it's intriguing. I've never done auctions. Just the thought of it stresses me out. Like I'll go head first into a bin and dive in with all the people, but going to an auction I don't know. It scares me. I feel like I'm too soft spoken to actually win anything.
Oh,
So,
that would be so fun.
you think so? Have you
Oh
ever
yeah,
done?
yeah. I think. Well, I do. Oh, what is it? I do. Sometimes I'll get stuff. I'll source off high bid.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, so the way that I like to do it is I'll go in there and because there's actually a local I don't know what like a local place that actually does estate sales and stuff like that. So I'll usually just type in our zip code and see
Mm-hmm.
what like the local estate clean out people are doing and I'll just look that way and I've
There you go.
the most recent thing they had it labeled as they had the doll mislabeled. They said it was Monster High and I was like, "Oh, we're going on this." But then we actually get it and it was a Bratz doll, but we
Better.
still came out yeah, we still came out with it. I mean, that paid
Yeah.
for that one doll paid for like the whole thing. I'm like,
Right.
sure.
Right. Bummer it's not Monster High, but Bratz, I'll take it all day long. That's
Oh yeah.
awesome. Have you ever or do you ever source on Goodwill online? Shop Goodwill?
I do. I get a lot of sometimes I haven't recently because I've been trying to scale back the amount of Care Bears that I get, but a lot of times I can get like really good bulk buys on Care Bear lots.
Ooh.
So, yeah. I mean, but it also really depends on what it is because sometimes the shipping can kind of be a little pricey because they use FedEx Home.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah.
to
Well,
be
I like
picky and
that you
choosy.
filter in there as well to your location. So you don't have to do shipping.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. I need to do that.
It's better to do it on the computer because I was doing it on my phone and the filters, it was just wonky. So on the computer, and you can filter to your location.
I have to try that.
Auctions are great. Go try some. They're high-end auctions, some are estate clean-out auctions. Everything is shoved in boxes and it's so strange what you can get. Online auctions of manifested shipments are very profitable. Yeah. That's where your expertise comes in, Heidi. You are the pro at those auctions. Grumpy, welcome. Did a video. Oh, he's not here. Sorry. I was happy. I was welcoming him anyway. Did a video about the auctions to help take some of the anxiety out of it because it can be intimidating if you haven't been to an auction. Yes. So that's one of the videos I saw. It was probably 2 weeks ago. Let us know how long ago that was. And everyone check out her channel because it was helpful. It is. And it's fun to watch, but it's a different setting. Like with your auctions, they're all laid out almost on like farmland and you're looking at all the tables before. Like the auctions that I always see, you're just peeking into a little warehouse or into a storage unit and you don't get to see it all laid out. So I'm anxious if you do any videos or ever do any of those types of auctions, like completely blind and you don't see things laid out.
I do know someone who like they actually do they like do exclusive videos of like on or in-person auctions. Like they've done all kinds of
Okay.
stuff. His it's Country Road Bidding. Is that right? Country Road Bidding. Yeah, they've been to all kinds of they've been to livestock and then other stuff too. It's
Oh, I
hmm.
see. And then they're resellers too. So they're bidding on it to resell. Or I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that they do resell. I don't think they're still kind of small, but they do a lot of it. I think they're um um I had a brain fart. Oh my god. Um yeah, they do resell. I think it's more it's not like a they kind of do it casually.
Yeah. All right, I'll check that out. Because yeah, auctions sound fun, but it just sounds intimidating. All right, got a good question here. How do you keep from having a huge pile of worthless stuff lying around? Don't buy worthless stuff. Number one. What is your method for dealing with the hoarding, if you know what I mean? All right, like a death pile. How do you deal with a death pile, Chantel? Do you guys have one? Do you try to avoid it? How do you keep up with it?
We do have a death pile.
Denial.
Yeah, it's in denial.
All right, just throw a
Like
blanket over it. No one will notice.
yeah, it's like a love-hate relationship. I mean, like I don't think anything um yeah, just it can be very daunting. So we try to put it in different spots so that we're going to different parts of where we live and we're like, okay, yeah, we'll get some stuff there or whatever. Cause yeah, I have a problem. I like to source, so I have like a
hmm
big death
Well,
pile.
that's the best part. That's the high. That's the endorphins is the sourcing.
Mm-hmm.
The listing is the boring part. Like, really? Now I gotta list it? So, yeah, I think my number one thing is list it as you get it. Don't let it build up. And as long as you are consistently listing, you should be able to stay on top of it. So, my death pile, I have two of those clear plastic totes where I put all my inventory. And I've got one that has some more of those pipes. I had picked up some old like wooden tobacco pipes. So I still have some of those, and I have some GPSs that I need to list. But other than that, there's nothing else in that death pile. So the trick is I picked up, I think, 7 or 8 things today. I'm going to list them tonight. So it's just trying to stay on top of it. Try not to let it get ahead of you. And if you do, it's okay to redonate. So it was getting to the point probably 4 months ago, 3, 4 months ago, that those bins were full. Those two bins, instead of having one empty and one with a couple little things, they were full. So I went through, and each item, if I knew I would never buy it again and I should not have bought it in the first place, redonate it. And it's, instead of putting it back in the bin, once you pick it up, decide, am I keeping this, listing it, or am I going to redonate it? And either list it right then or put it in your donate pile. So it's poop or get off the pot. Commit the minute you touch the item. Don't keep holding on to it. It's okay to admit it was a bad buy. Hopefully you bought it right and it was cheap enough, and count your loss. I've done that many, many times. Because and the thing too is with the app, you're looking stuff up in the store and you're like, oh, it's worth $25. I'll go ahead and pay 5 or whatever it is. You get home and you're like, oh, it's only worth 12. Like, I shouldn't have bought this. I shouldn't have paid $5 for it. So the app gives different stats depending where you're at. And so there's times that it's just not worth listing it because maybe it's sold for 12 with free shipping, and then I'm losing money on it. I'd rather take the $5 tax donation on redonating it than worry about relisting it. So my number one rule is just list it as you get it. Try not to let it build up.
That's a
a
good
couple
rule.
weeks ago or so. So yeah, check out Happy and Grumpy's video on those auctions. All right, Heidi, I've done the City of Denver auctions for the lost and found from DIA, items from evidence lockers and the police department, and all items from the city that the offices don't need anymore. Yeah, I heard. So my sister and brother-in-law used to do a lot of those. They also live in Denver, and they were really good before COVID. Like, you'd be able to buy these lots super, super cheap. And he was buying pocket watches or just watches in general, a lot of pocket knives because those would keep getting confiscated. Lots of ski gear. I mean, you're in Denver, coming and going. If the skis got lost, you got a lot of that stuff. Just so much outdoor stuff. Like, the amount of things he would get, and it would be auction style, was amazing. But then COVID hit and everyone was doing the online auctions, and it hurt the margins. The auctions were going way too high and you weren't getting a good enough deal. So if you live near a major airport, I hear those are absolute just money holes. But oof, ouch. That was your head, dude. He was hiding under my table and then stood up. Oh, that was a conk. It shook the table. A Buc-ee's trip makes everything better. Okay, tell me
Yes, it
about
does.
Buc-ee's. What in the world is this Buc-ee's that everyone talks about?
So, okay. It's a gas station. And yeah, I think it's personally the best gas station out there. Their bathrooms are top notch.
Okay.
They you can go in and you can get like a full meal. You could get gifts for people. Like, they have I mean, it's amazing. Like
Is it only in Texas, or where in the world are they?
So,
They're not in Arizona.
So it used to be only in Texas, but now they have expanded. They are in, I know they're in Alabama. They're in a couple places in Tennessee. I know they had a big they just opened one, like a real big one in Seaverville, I think. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. There's a couple in Florida. I know they're breaking ground on one in South Carolina near where my in-laws live. But it's definitely like Texas and definitely southern. It hasn't gone up north. So, and yes, there is a person dressed in a beaver suit that you can actually take a picture with. I swear, every time he's in there, I take a picture with him. Every time. I can't help it.
That is awesome. Yeah, they need to come to Tucson.
Yeah,
come to Arizona. We all deny our death pile. Yep, and go buy more. Yes, it's addicting. I mean, like I said, the shopping is the fun part. That's the high. We found our thing, we got excited, and then you don't want to go home and list it. Like, that's the boring part. And then you get a cha-ching, and then it's exciting again. And ups and downs. Phoenix Airport, never looked into it though. Yeah, I don't know what they call it, but yeah, International Airport. Heidi, correct me. What do they call these auctions? Um, Unclaimed property? I don't know what they call them, but yeah, I'm sure Phoenix has some good stuff left behind. And then even just the police departments, that's a big one too. Who else did you say? Evidence lockers, all the city stuff. Yeah. But Phoenix for me is too far away, and Tucson's too little. Our measly little Tucson airport with 5 gates. Did you ever sell that golf club someone switched at the bins? I sold the head cover so far. So if you haven't seen this, I had went to the bins, was it last, no, 2 weeks ago, and they brought out new a whole new pallet, a whole new bin. I'm chasing it like herd of cats with everybody. And I see a head cover. I start pulling and realize it's attached to a golf club. I almost fell over when I saw the name on top of this head cover. It was a Paradigm, a Callaway Paradigm. And I looked it up, just a quick Google, and it's a $500 golf club. So it was still wrapped in its plastic, the same way it was shipped back to Amazon. And I'm like, I just need to get this club and get the heck out of here. So I run over to the testing station and we open up the package. I take the head cover off, and it was swapped. Someone swapped it. They
Oh
bought the
no.
$500 club and returned their used one and kept the $500 club. So flat out, complete thief, like disgusting how they did that. But luckily, the club they swapped it with was still a good club. It's still one I would have paid $15 for at a thrift or something. It was still a Callaway. It was worth maybe 120. So I separated it. I listed the head cover for I think 30 just by itself, and then the club I listed for 100, 120, somewhere in there. So I have not sold the club, but I did sell that head cover already. So I paid it $15 for it, and I've already made 30 or sold it for 30, just the cover. So it's already paid for. So now whenever the club eventually goes, it'll definitely be even better.
Yeah, we do that with action figures. We picked it. We picked it up. We're at that the liquid. It's like another bins, like Amazon bins, and
Mm-hmm.
it had it was oh my god, what is this? Like I'm having it was a Loki action figure from the Marvel Legends line, and it had a
Mm-hmm.
Build-A-Figure in it. And we looked it up, and we're like, holy crap, the leg by itself goes for like $15. So it's
Wow.
like, oh my god, okay, yeah, we're doing it. 'Cause I think it
Yep,
was like only $5 for the whole thing. So it's like, oh yeah, definitely.
exactly. Well, that's what I like about the savers bags, where it's just like these mystery bags of junk. And it's like, okay, I'll pay $5 for a bag of junk because this one little thing that's in that bag is worth $90. So I'll buy
Yes.
this random, like I think this last one, it was a $5 bag and it had a GPS, a Garmin biker's GPS. So you clip it onto your bicycle and it keeps track of how far you're biking and your elevations and all of that. So in this bag was hearing aid batteries. There was some random phone charger. It was just a bag of junk. So the only thing I wanted was that Garmin, and the rest of it went right back into the savers bin that I'm gonna give right back to them. Like I don't need that. Oh, it was a what is it called? Like a coax port that you put your old coax cables in. Like absolute junk. But I was in it for the Garmin. So as long as it's worth it to buy something and you can part it out and still make your money back, even on parts, you know it's a
Hmm.
good buy. All right, Lori, I missed your question. Hold on, beer. Hi, too. Gas station meets Cracker Barrel meets Walmart equals Bucky's. That sounds fun because I do like a good Cracker Barrel and their little store, and yeah.
That's a really
All
good
right.
description. That kind of that really hits it right
Did
on
that
the head
nail it?
there. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought I heard somewhere that it was a thrift store too, or no, nothing
No,
thrift. Just the
no.
like the gift shop and all that.
Yeah. And some you could actually get a car wash too. Like it's a full service
Bonus.
car wash you could go through.
Oh
So,
my goodness, that
yeah.
sounds fun. Melanie, I can't believe you made it. Welcome. You did not have to come tonight. I want you to feel better. Poor Melanie has been sick, and thank you so much for hopping on here and supporting us. You need to
Well,
go
I
drink
hope you
some
feel
tea
better.
and feel better. Yes. Sweet, sweet, sweetheart. All right. What are some of your best and your worst buys or flips?
One of the best ones was we had found at the one of the it's a local thrift store in the area. Um, it was a Disney monorail set.
Ooh.
Yes, yes, and ironically enough, I wasn't the one who picked it out. My husband found it. He's like, "Hey, check this out." I'm like, oh, "Okay, we're doing that." Yeah, like I think we were in it. It was like $7 or $8. Everything was still in there.
$4.
Oh, it was four.
Yep.
Ooh, even better.
Yeah. So and oh man, like it's been a while, but I want to say it went for
About 100.
it went close to $100 for that thing.
Dang, from $4. That's
Oh yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then um it was there was another place we went to. It's not a Savers, but it had like they have those bags where they put all those different toys in. And
Mhm.
we're looking at it and Tony's and my husband picks it up and he's like looking at there like these little trains in there. And I'm thinking, I was like, what do you mean? You trains? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So we got it and we looked it up, and it's like it's the local railway to between Dallas and Fort Worth. I think it's the Trinity Railway. And like it was a replica of the train. Yeah, we paid
$3.
about $4, and the train alone went for close to $100.
No.
No?
Holy cow.
Remember? Each train went for 100.
Oh, that's right. There was. Oh, that's right, because there was a couple of them. There was three of the trains. They were like that big.
The N scale.
He says N
Wow.
scale. I know zero about trains.
Right. Well, that's why my husband comes to tell me what the computer parts were. I'm like, they had a little fan. Yeah. Like, I don't know what the heck it is. I just have Google and it tells me it was worth money. So you're welcome. I don't have to know what it was called. What about some of your worst buys?
Trying to. Oh, recently, we bought some of the Funkos that we bought. We were trying to like retail arbitrage them, and yeah, no, that fell right flat on its face. I mean, it still sold, but it was like, that hurt. I don't want
Yeah.
to do this again.
Yep. Funkos are a tough one. There was one today at the bins, and the friend I went with, she's like, "Oh, it's a Funko. That's worth something." I'm like, "Unless it's a specialty one, it's not." So I
Or if
looked
it's
it up, and it was
retired.
like a $12 one. Yeah, retired specialty.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be something unique about that Funko because most of them are just mass produced and they're not worth anything. And everyone thought that was going to be their new Beanie Babies, their new retirement.
Yeah.
What would you say is your most recent Best Buy or flip? Unless it's still the same train one.
I'd have to say that Bratz doll that I was talking about, because I think grand total, there was two Bratz dolls. One of them, like, it was missing the feet or something. I had no idea like that their feet, like, you could like remove and stuff like that. I didn't know. I want to say it was somewhere like for everything, the two dolls, a Lala Loopsy, and then like this toy chest. It was like $10, and one of the Bratz dolls sold for like 35. So I was like,
There you go. Already made your money back and then some. Super awesome. All right, we get another question here. There's a lot of hidden costs in reselling, such as gas, time, shipping supplies, death pile storage. You got to really love what you do. Yes. How do you deal with these hidden costs? Sell more. That's always my answer. When people say, oh, the fees are getting higher, the shipping is getting higher. Sell more. Just sell more. then it doesn't even matter that you're paying an extra couple bucks when you're making an extra couple hundred. So as far as the gas, time, those debacles, make sure that your trips are worth it. My goal is anytime I go sourcing in Tucson, I want to come home with enough to at least pay for a tank of gas. Because it takes probably, my car is pretty decent on gas. So when this trip today took about a quarter tank for me going over to the Amazon bins, going to lunch, going to Savers, going back to the Amazon bins, went through about a quarter tank of gas. So I wanted to make sure that I came home with at least $20 worth of profit, and I did. So that covers the gas and the time. And that's the same when I go to my local thrift. Obviously, that one's only like 10 miles away. So I'd like to come home with at least something. Um, the shipping supplies, recycle. That's the best way to save on that is having all your friends save all their Amazon boxes and poly mailers, get your neighbors to save them, family. That's the easiest way to save on that. Let's see, the death pile storage. Don't have a death pile. Keeping that to a minimum. If it's starting to get too big, redonate. I know this sounds silly, but there's always going to be obstacles, and if you let those stop you from succeeding, you're never going to get anywhere. And the people that complain about the little things, it's just going to hold you back. And I overcome all of it by saying sell more stuff. Just keep scaling. And when you lose money on stuff, move on. Write it off and move on. Sell more stuff. So thank you so much for the questions. I really do appreciate them. If anyone has anything to add to that, we've got some very seasoned resellers in the room here. So I would love to hear some of your answers to that too. Let's see. What is your favorite reseller tip that you wish everyone knew?
I'd have to say, when in doubt, part it out, because I don't think
That's a good one.
people I don't think people realize that, you know, sometimes you can be more profitable if you part it out.
Yep.
You know, it.
Food processors, blenders,
Mhm.
vacuums, all of it. Most of those are worth more parting it out than keeping it together. Yep, that's a good one. I don't think anyone else has said that one yet. Let's see. So, how do you see your business growing in the future?
Um, scale, trying to figure out how to scale it to get bigger. Like, I see it I see growth. I want growth. I just need to. Yeah, I see I see growth.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you have a certain amount of items you want to have in your store or a certain amount a month you want to make? How do you see, what are some of your goals?
I think it's probably more. Well, I don't. It's probably more of how much would be coming in. Like, I want to
Mhm.
be at a certain point, um, per month, because eventually, I would like to do it. I would like to be full time, but I want to make
Mhm.
sure that you know that there's enough coming in from it to you know
Right.
safely do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you can do it either way by getting more items or just getting higher profit items and scaling it that way. All right, Tony, I don't share the philosophy of donating if I won't make a profit when other items sit. Or I make a boo-boo when I thought I did my research. I'd rather sell at cost for good feedback. That's a valid point. Like, it's better just to take a $5 sale and hope they leave you feedback than it is to redonate it. So I just I want to still enjoy listing it. Maybe it's just a selfish thing. Like, I want to still find joy in listing it. And if I pick up something that just makes me mad that I shouldn't have bought it in the first place, I'd rather not take another 10 minutes to list it and talk about it and take pictures about it. And it's just not worth it to me. I'd rather write off the $2 or whatever I paid and redonate. So, yeah, definitely good points there, Tony. All right. So we are coming to the end, and I wanted to thank Shantelle for coming on and for your husband for helping with dropping your link, because there's only so much stuff I can multitask here. So I appreciate that so much, putting that into the comments and making sure that everybody is following your channels, because you do share a lot of really good tips there. The other thing we do is find something like a movie trading company, bring toys and collectibles up to them for store credit, and then turn it into more purchases to sell. Okay, I don't know if we have, like, we've got the play it against sports. I'll do that for sporting gear, but we don't have a movie. Well, I guess we have this store called Bookman's, and it's a used bookstore, but they also take movies, they take video games, but their credit is awful. It's like GameStop credit that you'd give them something that they're like, okay, I'll give you 50 cents, and they're going to turn around and sell it for 25 bucks. So if you
Oh,
can find a good one that'll buy it from you, for sure, you can easily turn that into your only business. It's just finding the stuff and flipping it to them. So, what type of store is it like that where they buy it and then resell used?
yeah, they do. Yeah, they sell the movies, toys, collectibles, even like anime. Because well, some of the stuff that like we can't move, we'll definitely kind of gather that stuff and then take it up there to kind of
Mhm.
recycle to see what. Okay, well maybe they have something, um, stuff there, and I know we have because he's actually my husband's actually found they were from one of the Kevin Smith movies. I can't think of the name now.
Dogma.
From Dogma. These like little action figures,
Loki and Bartleby.
and he found them. He's like, "Hey, check this out!" And I'm like, I look at him. I'm like, "Are these really gonna sell?" Yeah. Well, I was wrong because they sold. I'm
Oh, funny.
like
Do
it's
they give you a
crazy.
pretty good credit
Yeah,
or do
yeah.
they rip
I
you
mean,
off?
they no, actually, it's pretty decent. I mean, obviously they give you a little bit more percentage if you get the store credit, which I mean,
Yeah,
we usually just turn around and look for stuff to resell
yeah,
anyway. So,
exactly. What I like to do with that store, the one local, is finding the free books. So there was a neighbor that had put out bins and bins and boxes of old books. She homeschooled and she had all these books and she put them out on the curb for free. So, of course, I'm like, they're free. I took them in the car and we went straight to Tucson and took them over to Bookman's and got store credit. And it
nice.
ended up getting us like $30 in credit. So then the kids just bought some books. So I didn't use it for reselling, but heck, to get free book credit for some taking some books to be redonated. That was amazing. I love free.
Yeah, free is good. Yeah.
Free is good. Sporting goods at the bins and to play it against sports is a great move. If you find good items. Yeah. And I like ours. They're pretty personal. Like when I go to my play it against sports, it's always the same guy. I don't know if these are franchises. I don't know how they're run, but the manager is always the same one and he's always there. And I had brought in all these old golf clubs that were only worth less than $10 on eBay. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take them up there and see what I get. And they were also really slow sell through rate. Like these just needed to get out of my inventory. So take him up there, and he's like, okay, but this pile I really don't want. I'm like, honestly, I'm just gonna take them to Savers. So anything you give for them, you can have them. And it's like, okay, I'll give you $1 a piece. Like, hey, thanks. So I got an extra like $6 for these clubs that I was about to have to schlep to the donation center, and it took them off my hands. So I like Play It Again because they actually work with you when they're coming up with the calculations and buying extra stuff, and I do like them. And they seem to be reasonable. Of this, I think I had got like $60 for these clubs when I was done with it. And they already went through my garage sale. I think I sold one at the garage sale, and then they went to Play It Again, and I was happy to make $60
Nice.
because they were on their way to Savers, would have been their next spot of destination. All right, my friends. I had so much fun tonight. Thank you, Chantel, for joining me. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for giving these amazing questions and keeping us company tonight. Thank you, Copper Cat, just getting started with selling your videos have really helped me. These ideas will come in handy. Thank you so much. excited to have you. I enjoy doing this show. I enjoy meeting everybody, and I know it was a little different with you not being a human mom, but I know you still had some great insight and some great information that these viewers wanted to hear. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everyone in the chat. It was a lot of fun being here. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank
Mountain
you for having
State.
me.
Yes, and I definitely can't wait to meet you again, have you on the show again, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you guys.
Thank you.